Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another installment of Inside of the Mind. I am the Source. Today we are joined by the very talented Gray, also known as GLUMBOJUMBO. We're here inside the fine art studios of IUSB. How you feeling today?
Good. It's
A little toasty?
yeah, toasty. Yeah. It's warm, but I'm feeling good.
How you enjoying your summer so far?
It's been good. It's been busy. Been working a part-time job, trying to get some art in there as well.
Trying to strike that balance.
Yeah, it's hard, but
I can see you've been busy. You definitely got a lot of work here on the walls. The fruits of your labor are definitely blooming.
thanks.
So take me through the origin story of the name GLUMBOJUMBO. Where did that come from?
That's a good question. I genuinely have no clue. Like, I think I just needed a username, and it just popped in my head, and I don't know. It kind of just stuck ever since. Like, I like kind of how goofy it sounds. So that's it. I don't know. It doesn't really have a reason, but
No, I like that. I like that. What kind of artist would you describe yourself as?
I would definitely say like a surrealist, abstract artist. I mainly do kind of fantastical, weird, surreal scenes and figures. Basically, I basically just like expressing myself however I want. So it usually ends up being something kind of strange. Yeah, I don't know.
What would you say was your very first creative memory? Like the farthest you can think back in your brain. Like what was like the very first experience you had just creatively expressing yourself?
I think I've always drawn a lot as a kid. Although what started me with art was actually not exactly like super expressive. It was more honing in like how to draw. So I would basically just, draw from life, draw from things I was interested in. I drew a lot of like Mario characters because that's, as a kid, like that's what I was into. And so like that was how I like learned how to draw. I'd say in like middle school, high school is when I started to like draw more expressively and from my mind and like channel some emotions in there. And that's what I've been stuck on ever since. That's kind of how I continue to do art, is to more so it's mostly about expressing myself basically.
So you're from Chesterton, right?
Yeah.
So what was that experience like moving from Chesterton to South Bend for school? Like was it like a big difference?
It was a pretty big difference. My high school had like, it was pretty big. I mean, it had like 500 for our graduating year, but South Bend is definitely like a way bigger city. It has a lot more opportunities, for the art community. It has a bigger community in general. It was a bit overwhelming to move, but I moved into the dorms at IUSB and then befriended a lot of, of the friends I have now, my bestest friends. And through the arts like program, it was just like I'd never experienced something like that, to have an art community, close friends, and people that were very, very accepting and just open. So
That's cool that you had you were able to find like that network and just like I love that theme within doing these interviews, just hearing from a lot of people, just like the way the art community just kind of supports each other and the way people can kind of find home in that. So that's really cool to hear.
yeah.
What did you study at IUSB?
Fine arts with a concentration in drawing and painting. So.
What was your school experience like? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I definitely had a lot of gen ed courses. That was not really my main concern. Like my main like focus was on the art classes. I definitely had to learn a lot of discipline with basically my time management was the biggest thing.
I hear that. That's a big one.
Yeah, like I'm such a big procrastinator. And so a lot of the projects earlier on, at least, I would leave until like the last, like I'd be up like all night before. But honestly, that did, like, I don't recommend it, but there is something about like a time constraint that did help me like lose the perfectionism that I had. So it was good and bad, I think. But I definitely had to learn to like give myself more time and be better about time.
And you just graduated, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be done with that chapter?
Feels weird. Feels really weird. I'm like really happy to be done, but it's also like, so it's just a new chapter that I have to explore. Like being in school, like there was a reason like I was studying art and I could focus on my art. And now when you graduate, it's like, okay, it's kind of like more real. Like you're in the real world pretty much. I have to get like, you know, I don't know, more serious with it.
Yeah.
And
So-
like, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, just, and also like balancing things with the job and all that. It's like,
Yeah, that real world grind is
yeah.
taking us all. So like, how would you say like the school experience helped you grow as an artist?
I would say the biggest thing with the school experience was having an immediate art community. I feel like it's one thing to create in solitude or by yourself, you know, with no audience. But having like friends or peers that you can, you know, show that art to, get critiques, see what they think. Like, I think that's like a very important part of the art process. So, and like here, the studios, like I got to work with some of my closest friends. We'd all be in here working, and that's also nice to be working like alongside other artists. Like I think it's really cool.
It's a cool point. It's a good point there. I was looking through your posts. I remember you mentioning something about the difficulties. It was after your first semester of painting, and you were saying there was a lot of difficulties going from drawing to painting. What are those learning curves like? What are some of those difficulties like?
I think the biggest thing was I was always, like I had never painted. I was always drawing with like pen, pencil. So paint is like a lot more, for me at least, it's like a lot more unexpected and it's like harder to control. And so at first I was kind of frustrated. I was like, it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do, but I was trying to use it like, I was trying to use the medium of paint as if it was a pencil, and that's just not how it was. I had to use the medium as it was supposed to be used, if that makes sense. So like getting more loose with it in general, like that was getting to painting, like that was the stepping stone for me to be like, I don't know, getting over my perfectionism.
Yeah,
So.
I could see how it's something more, it's less finite, it's more fluid and
Yeah.
kind of live in the moment. It's interesting. So like within your illustrations as a whole, what kind of style or discipline did you hone in on first? Like realism and like getting a grasp on that, and then you ventured out into this more like surrealist style? Or like what kind of came first?
Yeah, it was definitely realism was first. Like that is what I was focused on through high school, even like my first couple years here at college. Realism definitely has its uses for me, but I think I got less attached to it when I realized like you can do a lot with abstract forms, abstractions. Like I like having like elements of realism in my abstractions, but I think like basically recreating a photo was something I was no longer interested in. It became like creating surrealist imagery with like hints of realism, but
So how would you say you arrived at like this? And like I said, like it's so unique that I don't even want to like put it into like a box or put a label on it, but like this surrealist, psychedelic, abstract style of yours.
I'd say the first instance of it was when I was experimenting with watercolor. I kind of let the watercolor, like the pigments and the like, basically I kind of let it create forms on the page, and I used the sort of the texture and the like weird shapes it made, and I looked at it, and then I kind of added in what I saw, added in the details with pen. So basically, I'm really inspired by the surrealists. They had this type of drawing called, I think it was surreal automatism, or like automatic drawing, and it's basically just you basically just like don't think too hard while you're drawing and draw whatever your brain kind of defaults to. It's like the subconscious, and it lets you arrive at some usually abstract forms, but I was using it in a way that like I already had abstract forms as a base, and then I was just drawing on top of it as to what I saw. Kind of, it creates like weird imagery, and it's easier to create something when you already have something to work with on like as a base. So that's kind of what started it. Again, not being too set on like my destination, and kind of willing to go with the flow, I guess, while I'm drawing. So
Yeah. What would you say about like watercolors draws you to it so much? Like I know you use the term spontaneous, but what about watercolors like are you attracted to?
yeah, I just love the way if you're putting watercolor like on a wet page, it just starts flowing in such a unique way, and it just, you know, it spreads out, it mixes with other colors, but it kind of just does a lot on its own. And it's also very delicate. You can do a lot with it. But it's my favorite to use for, you know, abstract.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like what's your favorite like material or medium to work with? Would you say it's watercolors?
Watercolor, but like I've been more into like oil paint recently, ever since I was taking like classes for it.
What do you like about oil?
I with oil you can like also kind of thin it with, I use Gamsol, but it basically acts like water, so you can like thin it so where it's really it basically acts like watercolor.
Okay.
And it drips really weird, and so I like using those.
So you're still finding the watercolor in the oil paint?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then you can go over in like with a thicker application to kind of like add in more details. So I think watercolor, oil. I also like pen a lot.
And so like not to ruin your shot, Jaleal, but like this one right behind you, is that a technique that you used to like, is that oil that you added water to it to like thin it? Or were these like, is this all watercolor or oil here?
This is all oil. Yeah, like the drips I'm talking about, like with when you thin the oil paint, like I just like all the textures you can get. I just think it adds to it. I like a lot of weird textures and colors going on.
Yeah, it's an insane piece, by the way. Like I said, like I love like the realism of like capturing human forms, but then also just like your abstractions that you add into it. Really cool work there.
Thank you.
And so another piece that I was really interested by was the Star Wars The Last Supper. I saw that one, and it made me want to ask, like, do you dabble with pop art? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, I know you mentioned earlier with like drawing like Mario characters in your youth. Do you like experimenting with that?
I feel like it's something I would want to get back into, but I haven't done that in a while, except for that piece. That was actually, I started in high school, I think sophomore year, and I didn't finish it until senior year because I just kind of forgot about it. But I would want to incorporate more pop art and like different pop culture characters and stuff. But it's not something I'm like currently doing, but you kind of put it in my mind. I might try to, I don't know, do that more.
Yeah, no, it was a really good piece. I'm sure we'll put it right here. So how did you get into printmaking? I really like your, and I probably may misquote it, but I don't need AI, like I get my memes from stone lithography.
Yeah.
How'd you get into printmaking?
Well, I started taking printmaking classes here at IUSB. At first, it was just like, okay, I needed these credits, but it was such a great experience. Our professor who just retired, Bill Tortolat, like he created this whole like space in the print studio for us, like that it was just so welcoming, and like it just fostered so much creativity and like creative freedom that like some of our other drawing classes, like fundamentals, didn't quite give us that. But here he just like let us make whatever. So yeah, I started taking those classes and they were just really great. I don't know, printmaking a lot of it is just drawing but you're, either reproducing it for like silkscreen or drawing on the stone for like stone lithography. And so obviously I was like very interested, and it's like a different way to do art. It's
cool.
I like it a lot.
Who are some of your biggest artistic influences? Like I know you said you're inspired by some surrealist artists. Who are some, would you say, like some of these names that inspire you?
Okay, I would say like historical wise, Hieronymus Bosch. He does a lot of insane, surreal, really grand scenes, I guess. There's just so much going on. I think that's one of my favorite things to look at when it's art, and something I want to do more in my art is like just these crazy compositions of so much going on. So I'd say Bosch. For like something more modern, Gladys Nilsson, she's like a Chicago imagist. She also has like really busy compositions of just like weird forms and characters, and it's all colorful. She does watercolor too. So I'd say those two, definitely. Also Wangeki Mutu. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but she does, I actually have like a box that I made. It was like a project. But anyways, Wangeki Mutu, she just has like really surreal, distorted faces that she makes through collage. So she's also really, really inspiring.
Really cool.
Yeah.
So when did you start selling your art? And like, were there any challenges to that? Like any entrepreneurial learning curves?
Definitely, yeah. I started selling my art like 1 to 2 years ago, maybe 2 at this point. Mostly at different art fairs, like local ones, like Yart, Rebel Art, Art Beat. There's definitely a lot of challenges to sell at an art fair, mostly with setup. It's just something that I had never done before. So, and I was doing it with some friends. Having your booth look inviting, having the right promotional or like the right, I don't know, what do you call it? Like your setup, basically.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I definitely think at first, um, it looked pretty bad, and it's still not looking great. But we're slowly like figuring out how to set up to like, sell your art and I don't know, welcome people in. Like marketing yourself is really big. Like people need to know what you do. And then there's like selling online. I've sold a couple things online, like through my Instagram, like through, an online shop.
You have like a big cartel for your
Yeah,
website.
yeah.
That's what you use.
That was something I like just started, and it's like pretty cool, like to be able to sell online to people, like even like internationally. It's I think the biggest struggle is still like, advertising yourself. Like you have to make your shop like be known, I guess. You can't just have it exist and sit there and nobody goes to it. Like, does that make sense?
So you have a really good following on like TikTok and Instagram. Like you have really good social media following. How do you feel social media interplays with the current state of art? Is it for the plus? Is it for the negative? Is it kind of somewhere in between? What are your thoughts on that?
I think I see it as both. It's like hard. It's hard to like put into words because I do think we were kind of talking earlier, but like the need for artists to be social media
Kind of savvy.
yeah. It's like, I mean, it's new. It's like, I mean, it's not always been this way, and so it's a little unfortunate in that way that artists have to be artists and like, like influencers as well. It's like, it can be exciting if you're like into that. Like I'm trying to like, it's kind of fun to like, post about your art and like art, like reels, like it can be, video art, like can be something fun to explore, but I don't know if everyone wants to be always marketing themselves in that way all the time. So it's just it's a new thing. Like I feel for, people, the artists who like aren't really wanting to do that. And I don't know the other option at this point. Like, I don't know, but social media, I mean, it's definitely like also, a plus because there's exposure. You can get seen by thousands of people that otherwise wouldn't see your art, So I think the exposure is really great. And it's a great opportunity to get seen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What would you say are your long-term goals as an artist, especially now that you're graduated?
I want to keep making, whatever comes to mind, basically. I do want to get, like, one of my far-fetched, like, really out there goals eventually in life is I want to make a comic, to be honest. Or like maybe an animation, some sort of like narrative story with my art style. Like I think that's something I don't know, like it was recently that I just really got into the idea like of wanting to tell a story.
What's your favorite piece of yours that you've ever done?
Favorite piece that I've ever done.
And also feel no need to like rush yourself because we could just like cut it. If you really have to just like look around and think like
yeah,
you're good,
well,
you're good.
it's hard because I'm like very self-critical and like, nothing is necessarily like, I don't know. Like I always want to like improve. And so like nothing's ever quite right, if that makes sense. I don't have it here, but I'd say like my favorite one I did just because it was so fun to make was this painting. If you want, I can like send you the file.
For sure,
or
that'd be great.
put on the screen or whatever.
Put it up right here.
Yeah. It was an oil painting that I did. I was kind of just doing whatever. But I was kind of like thinking about a narrative story and like a story I wanted to tell. So like that was really fun. So I'd say that's my favorite piece, or this one, just because I think it was also really fun to do, and I want to do more like that in the future. So,
with that, when you said more like that, what about that style do you want to do more of? That connected with you.
Chaos. I love like, you know, lots of weird textures, abstract forms. I like the I really want to do more maybe with the kind of social commentary themes and tackling bigger issues. It's not necessarily something I always do for sure, but it's something I want to try to do more of. So those things in mind, that's why I like it a lot.
Gotcha. What would you say is the one album that you cannot live without? If I took this album away from you, you can't listen to it for the rest of your life. What's that one gonna be?
Okay, I'd say it depends. It might be Carrie and Lowell by Sufjan Stevens, or Puberty 2 by Mitski. I'd say those two. Maybe something else, but yeah, those two for sure.
Okay. So how about that animated film? You got one cooking in there?
I like don't want to say the wrong thing. I really liked like I'm fighting the urge to like try to look on my letterbox right now, but I'll say
No, you're good. It's. I feel like it's right.
Paprika.
Okay.
It's like a Japanese animated movie. I forget by who.
What about it do you like so much?
It's very surreal. It's I think it's comparable to like Inception, so it's very like trippy. There's this one scene of this parade through the town, the city, and it's so chaotic. There's just so much going on. I would recommend watching.
I've heard the title.
Yeah.
I think I maybe have it written down somewhere in my watch list, but good pick there.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to your former self, or just any young artist out there?
Obviously the biggest one is to never stop creating. I feel like, or if you haven't even started, like, you can always start. Like, I think everyone's an artist innately. If you're human, you have the ability to, if you're an artist, like, you, like, I mean, I like to make art to express myself, but there's so many ways to be an artist. And so I feel like just to not be, I would say to like not be too intimidated to try, just to keep trying and to fail, and that like it's fine. Art doesn't have to be perfect. It's just, you know, you on a paper or whatever medium. It's just, it can be uncomfortable seeing, you know, yourself kind of out there, but and it's like, it takes a vulnerability to put yourself out there in any way, but I think the reward is like it's so worth it, you know. Like any sort of creative endeavor is really, I mean, yeah, I think that's the reason, you know,
Love it.
we're here. I don't know.
For sure, yeah. So the way we always love to cap things off here is with just some shout outs. Is there anybody in the 574, Chesterton, anywhere out there that you would just love to just shout out? Anybody at all?
Okay, definitely my partner, Eli Lozano. I already mentioned Bill, but Bill Tortolot. My other friend, Arson Eisenberg. They do comics. Let me think. Dylan Fear, he was the other student in the studio.
Okay.
I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I'm probably missing people, sorry. But yeah.
I think that just about does it. Thank you very much for your time and yours. You heard it here straight from the source and Gray, the very, very talented Glumbo Jumbo. Thank you very much.
Thank you.